Hi, I'm Triumph, and today we're talking about the movie The Truth About Emmanuel. Yes, I'm doing this video from my car. Do I have a computer I could have used? Yeah, fuck off. This is how I want to do the video. What do you... Judgmental as hell for what reason? Anyway, this movie was not well reviewed. It's from 2013. The only person that I recognized from it was Doc Ock. Doc Ock in this movie, right? That's crazy. From the Tobey Maguire movie, the Spider-Man with the shit we had, the big ass, the sun, got the power of a... Y'all remember. Anyway, this movie is not like that at all. This is it's supposed to basically... I feel like the job is just making us imagine what it's like to have lost a family member a long time ago and try and deal with that coping process as you grow up throughout life. We have a main character named Emmanuel, who is a girl. They thought there was going to be a boy, and it was not, and they still named him Emmanuel anyway. And I think they got Emmanuel tattooed on their wrist for that reason. But this child had lost her mother immediately. The mother died giving birth to Emmanuel. We've got a stepmother who is married to the father who's a therapist. She can't have kids, so her loss is she can never create a family for herself. And we've got a woman named Linda who is going to be one of the main characters in this movie who... spoilers at this point, it's important. It's not really spoilers. This is a spoiler review, so if you need to, see the movie first, you've had, 12 years. But if you want to go see it, I pirated it online. Leave a like and subscribe before you go. If you please come back if you do. Anyway, so this woman lost her child and is raising a doll instead of an actual child. So there's a lot of loss in those regards. Every other character doesn't matter. There's she's got a coworker who gets involved at some point, but again, just to push the plot, she's got a love interest who doesn't really matter. His name's Claude. She meets him on the train, and she just decides, hey, we're dating. Out of they talk 3 times. She does weird things, makes them dating. She's very strange about it. He doesn't show up on the train one time, and then she gets pissed off, and then she's like, if you're gonna be my boyfriend, you have to do this and you have to do that. And he's like, boyfriend, we've barely even talked to him. And then he does date her. And I have to say, as a dude who dates mentally ill woman, that would have worked on me. If a girl who I'd probably talked to 3 times showed up, then I wasn't there, and she's like, hey, we're dating, do better. I was like, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I'd have had the same thing, I'm gonna be absent. I'm an aloof individual. I'm an aloof nigga. But it would have worked. I like weird bitches with mental health issues. That's my thing. But he barely matters in the plot. He does 2 other relevant things. The thing that does matter is our main character, Eleanor. She is a weirdo who doesn't know how to express emotions, but I think it's probably more accurate that she's probably just autistic. That seems more accurately to describe why she doesn't seem to interact with anybody normally. The movie almost tries to play it as she's so quirky because she never had a mother in her life to help her learn how to process things. But I do think she would have been strange regardless. She's probably just autistic. A lot of autistic people in my community, I'm like, none of these behaviors look that strange to me. And I was like, this just looks like my Twitch community. This looks absolutely normal to me. Anyway, so she is at some point talking to her dad and stepmother, and they talk about the neighbor Linda, who's looking for a babysitter. She offers herself up as a babysitter, even though she already has a job working at a pharmacy, in which she talks to her coworker, and she just, makes a lot of weird jokes, implies that he fucks one of the inhalers or something, and then he smells it for some reason. Really weird. Anyway, but she already has a job, but she takes the second job. I guess she wants to save up money for college. She shows up to this neighbor, who I think the name's Linda. I could be wrong. If her name's not Linda, I don't care. I'm calling her Linda for the rest of the movie. That's in my mind's eye, you can't take that truth from me. This is America. This is my truth. This is my reality. I'm not sure why I'm doing this with my hands. She goes in to begin the process. They go over the regular stuff, like you got to do this and put her down. She gets tired. All that stuff doesn't really matter. But she goes up at some point later on in the day, because the monitor makes some sort of noise. She goes in to see that, oh, this is a doll, not an actual baby. Linda comes back in and then starts changing the diaper. I was like, oh, okay, well, she made a mess. And then she's taken back. So she goes over, come on, you have to see. You don't have to see how to change the diaper. Starts changing the diaper and just doing a couple other strange things. Of course, our Emmanuel is taken aback by this, not really knowing what to do about this. She's clearly never met someone with this type of coping mechanism is what I'm going to call it. Because that's the other thing. It's like she's trying to figure out, is this a prank? Is she mentally insane? Is this just a coping mechanism? Because that's the challenge. Now, obviously, the takeaway is going to be that she lost her child, and then she didn't know how to deal with it, and then she used this doll, and she now thinks the doll's her actual child. And that's pretty much all there is to that. It's actually not that complicated. The real thing is how our character Emmanuel tries to deal with that. Eventually she does at least carry the baby around, just holds it by like the arm, doesn't really think of it that dramatically, at least when she's not in the sight of Linda. At some point, the stepmother comes over on one of the days that she's babysitting and tries to drop off cookies, cake, or some, whatever old white women do, and they give you real food. You take it and you throw it in the garbage because I don't want that nasty ass fruit cake, whatever you make it, your oatmeal raisin cookies, your raisin in fucking tuna salad. I don't think it's tuna salad. I don't know. There's gonna be raisins in some shit. I ain't taking your dish. Soon as you pass 35, I'm throwing whatever you give to me out. I ain't do it. You're an old black lady, I'll throw that down. But I'm just, this is racist. But not all racism is wrong. Don't take that out of context. Anyway. So it becomes one of the tense moments. She comes in, Emmanuel has to find something to do with the doll, and they throw it behind the door. They have some little conversation. Eventually, Linda comes back from her run, which is not intended because the doll's still on the floor. They're having a little conversation, trying to plan some sort of meeting, do whatever, and Emmanuel has to go try and find the doll real quick. But the stepmother, on her way out, put the doll on the desk. It fell over. Now we cannot find said doll anymore. Eventually she does look around and she does find it, but the tension does come up because she's asking where the baby is, and it's like, that's the dramatic tension for the movie. I believe one of the issues in this movie was that they probably, I imagine, presented some of these stressful tension moments that really just come from, we don't want our main character Emmanuel to get in trouble. Like, that's the type of tension that you could get from like any slice of life TV show. Like, it's not like a suspense, like a thriller thing, and they might have presented it as such. No one's ever in danger physically at any point in this movie. But yeah, she eventually does find her. She breaks a vase. At this point, they start having more conversations. They get closer. She talks about wanting to go on a date. Linda gives Emmanuel one of their dresses, one of her white shirts that looked very see-through, and I was a little worried. Like, I don't know if you should be wearing all that. Y'all getting a little frisky. Y'all bet like last week. I don't know if you should be wearing these sheer shirts on the way out. But she does take it. She goes on some date. What happened? It's not that big. It's not a big deal. She tries to go on a date with her boyfriend. They go out and they talk at the pond. I think they have sex. They start making out a lot. Maybe they have sex. Not a big deal. That's one of 3 things that happens with him. At some point, Linda shows up at Emmanuel's work at the pharmacy asking for stuff for the baby. She's got it swaddled up so you can't see that the baby's not a baby. And the coworker that Emmanuel was making the weird jokes about fucking the little, the inhaler, offers himself up to either see the baby, go on a date, do a bunch of some many things. At some point, he's going to end up going on a date with Linda. I get it. It's a weird woman who's really assertive. It's the same type of thing. The dudes in this movie just date whatever weird woman they find. They just like me, for real, for real. I have no judgment. I have no critiques. In fact, my only critique is on Real Life Men. Date more weird woman. It might be bad for you, but damn will it be a story. So, that gets bad. She really tries to get him to do something else. Like, please do anything else, go somewhere else. Tries to stop any interaction from happening. So we're noticing at this point, she's trying to do anything in her power to stop anyone from ever showing up at Linda's home, because she's got a baby that's not a real baby, and she doesn't want to break the illusion. Especially because she's creating that mother-daughter relationship with Linda, which obviously she don't got. Her mom's dead, so like, damn, I like this mom. I don't like the actual mom that showed up. I picked the weirder mom. She's like, this woman's much more mentally unstable. I'm mentally unstable. We get along. That's PB and J right there. Like, at that point, the movie's coming to a conclusion. At some point in the day, it happens. I think the boyfriend shows up, was offered a landscaping job. She doesn't like that, doesn't want the boyfriend to see the baby, so she creates a bullshit argument. It's like, you can't show up in every aspect of my life. And then he's like, fine, if that's how it's going to be, then you never have to see me again. They're both really weird, but again, they're children. They're like 17 years old, so that's to be expected. They're dramatic for no reason. Eventually, coworker dude comes back home. They may have had a drink or two, and then he asks, can I see the baby? That's when everything goes wrong, because Linda shows him a doll. It's like, this is a doll. This is part that I hated. This is part that I thought was really stupid. It's like, this isn't the baby. This is a doll. It's like, this is the baby. It's right here. It's like, no, it's not. This is a doll. It's like, what do you mean? This is the baby. Like, I wouldn't have, if I show up at somebody's house and they're talking about a baby nonstop, and then they show me they see the doll clearly. They very visibly see that it's a doll. And then they tell me this is their baby, I'm going to be like, oh, this person's not mentally stable. They do, like, I'm just going to immediately assume, like, oh, this person thinks this doll is a baby. I'm going to reevaluate everything. But this dude's a fucking jackass. He's just like, that's not your baby. This is a fucking doll. Are you fucking crazy or something? Show me your actual baby. Like, it's just, I don't know if I don't think that's going to be most people's first assumption. I've just seen stranger things in people before. So my first thought is, I don't want to like have this person have a mental breakdown, because that's exactly what happens. They have a mental breakdown. It's like, where's my baby? It cracks them out immediately. And then she starts asking the babysitter, because her knowledge, the babysitter Emmanuel was taking care of a baby. And now the only thing they can find is this random fucking doll. And Emmanuel has a panic attack. Functionally, it's like, it's right here. Here's the baby. It's just like, where's my baby? Where's my baby? And now, dumbass coworker dudes grabbing her, is being like, stop! Like, what did you do with it? Find the child. Like, because again, to her knowledge, like again, she's been saying she's been babysitting, and no one said, you know. So, and effectively, now she's dealing with the consequences of like a baby is gone, and you're the person who's supposed to be taking care of it because she kept her secret, and that kind of sucks. But what she's grieving isn't the fact that she's being yelled at. I mean, the fact that she's being yelled at probably sucks, but it's not like we've established that matters. What she's grieving is that she broke the reality for her. That, like, as someone who she had a mother and now who was fine, and now the mother's no longer there, and that relationship's gone. That's the thing that she ends up grieving. Clearly, what happens after this point? She goes to the hospital. She goes to the mental hospital because she has an entire breakdown. Like, 911's called. I think they work through everything. They establish that there wasn't a baby, because they get in contact with the husband or father, and it's like, yeah, no, her baby's lost. She lost her mind. At some point, our Emmanuel says, I want to go see her. And it's like, you shouldn't do that. It's a bad idea. So she calls her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, whatever the fuck they are, brings her to the hospital that she's at. Emmanuel brings the doll, and then she goes on one of her weird little poetic things. I forgot to mention, she does this weird poetic thing where she's like, when she has her panic attack, there's this scene where she's like in water, and the baby becomes real. Her mom, someone that plays the character that's supposed to play her mom, who's in the water, I think she's like a mermaid or some shit, grabs the baby. It's weird, but again, it's her very poetic, artsy girl way of expressing the baby's now gone, because her mom was taken away by like flashing water or something like that. I imagine it. So when she goes to talk to Linda in the hospital, she brings the doll, and Linda says, where's my baby? And it's like, I have it. Brings the baby there. And it's like, what's going on? Like, I lost it. It's like, well, why didn't you hold on? Like, I couldn't. The waves were too powerful. It is actually a very sweet moment. It's a very sweet moment. She uses her language to express in a way that actually gets through to Linda. Linda's kind of just sitting there listening as she talks about how the child has to move on, how they couldn't do anything about it. Basically, she uses her broken analogy her metaphor and analogy she uses her disreality to bring her back to reality. And I think I did kind of like that. They both get out of the hospital. They go to the grave site of the baby, which I guess was close enough by, and they dig up the grave, and then they bury the doll inside of the grave. While this is happening, Emmanuel is crying so much, crying as if she just had a miscarriage, as if she just lost a baby. And that, I felt that scene. It could be because there was no other really emotionally pulling scenes in the entire movie that I'm like kind of just glad that one happened. It does end with them just laying down in the graveyard. It's a really sweet moment. Problems? I don't know if she ever has a good relationship with her dad or stepmom ever. It's never established. Is she dating the boyfriend? Who's to say? But I don't think that's the point. The point is a young girl has to deal with having lost her mom. And the way that she learns how to deal with it is letting that mom who she picked deal with losing her child. And I guess it's about, I guess that's it. I thought it was a cool movie. I thought it was something. It's not well reviewed. It's like 41% on like Google reviews. I think like horrible on Rotten Tomatoes. But I think it's quirky. It's fun. If you watch it I think it's definitely not made for me as an audience demographically, but for the things that I'm interested in, it actually works quite well. Because like I happen to have a Twitch community of people who are much like that. Bunch of autistic gay people though. No one in this movie's gay. But for those who feel like they're outside, they've lost family members, they don't know how to cope, they find weird role models. I happen to usually be the weird role model. So like for that, I'm like I get it. It's a cool movie. It's a cool vibe. Yeah, that's it. I did this video in my car. I don't know why. If you lasted this long, god damn it, leave a like. God damn it, do a subscribe. And join my Discord. The link's gonna be down below. Join my Discord. We've got cookies. We're fun. A lot of autistic, a lot of gay people. If you don't like LGBT people, you don't like queer people, that don't join. Stay the fuck out of there. I don't tolerate any of that in my community. So if you got an issue with my peoples, bye. Other than that, you have a good day. I'll be posting another video in like 2 days from now. Peace.